Hello, everybody. Let's see. I think people should be able to hear me. Okay. And let me get the comments somewhere. Sorry, it's like I'm always rediscovering how to use this streaming app. Okay, I can see, just wait for people to have any comments. In the meanwhile, yeah, I think you can hear me. Oh, thank you so much, Tablet Kitten. Oh, I'm typing on the wrong keyboard again. Okay. Thank you. Okay. And let me do one more thing. Let me turn on my background music. I like to have something playing because it just makes it maybe a little more interesting. Where is it? Is that it? That's not the right one. Okay, there we go. Hello, Philip. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight. This was a surprise stream. I just was in the mood to go live. Just had a lot of energy tonight. Let me just put your question up here. It's quite interesting. I asked a question on the Discord. Maybe know why Wacom increases the IAF on firm mode. Yeah, and I think Tablet Kitten is pointing out it adds dead zone. But it'll help if you tell us, you probably did it in Discord, but I'll just say it out for the audience. Which tablet and which pen? Dead zone. Dzień dobry, Michael, Michał. I'll take a look at it, Philip. I'll once I get some time off of this stream. Okay. Let's see. So let me start projecting. Actually, man, I am in a great mood. I have to tell you. Pro Pen 3. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't expect that, Philip. I'll take a look. This is surprising to me what you're saying. I have seen the Intuos Pro 2025 put a dead zone with the Pro Pen 2, but I'll check with the Pro Pen 3. That's really interesting. And one more question, maybe. When you say increases the IAF, do you mean can you see it in the pressure curve, or you just can tell by the feel of the pen? Because I'm doing some let me back up. I actually am in the middle of trying to update my testing procedures to learn how to do good IAF testing. So I'm doing a lot of comparisons now about IAF with different default settings for the pens, and testing Pro Pen 2 versus Pro Pen 3, just trying to discover what these default settings do. Because one of the things I've always struggled with is we're on a random slide here. One thing I've always struggled with is what the default settings do and what do they really mean in terms of IAF. Okay, so now we have some people online. Let's just begin, and as always, you're the audience and you're in charge, so we'll talk about anything you want to talk about, right? This is just a fun late night stream so that we are, because I just had a lot of energy tonight and I just thought I felt the need to go online and share a few things, a few updates. So first, welcome to everybody. And if you're new to my streams, then do know we have a Discord available. And I'll put the link, if I can remember how to do this, in the chat. Give me 1 second. I'll bring up Discord, wherever it is. And I'll put it in. Actually, before I do that, let me just explain. Oh, sorry. I will back up, and I will get this Discord thing in the YouTube. Oh, God, this is so confusing. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna ask one of my Discord people to put the link in the chat. I've got 3 computers because my head is just spinning, and of course my microphone is bouncing up and down now. Okay, so let me get back to where I was. Sorry for the confusion. Okay, so we have the Discord, and what I wanted to say is, please feel free to join the Discord. It's a fun place, and I would just ask, it's pretty simple. We try to stay on topic because we really talk about drawing tablets and digital art. No, not safe for work stuff. And, we have to keep it safe for kids because we do have a lot of young people coming on the Discord asking for recommendations for tablets, right? March 7th. Did I put in the wrong date? Oh, look at that. It's always something. It's always something. Thank you so much, Tablet Kitten, for the correction. I appreciate that. Okay, and then in the Discord, there's 2 channels that are really about the live stream. One is if you just want to chat with other live stream people, you can go to live stream chat. And if you want me or all of us to react to like a photo or something or a link, put it in live stream react, so then we will react to it. Okay. I see we have a question from someone. Let's see. Do I have any thought on the Zoot stand for a pen display? Well, I saw it. I was quite impressed by it, though I haven't had a direct chance to use it. The people who seem to have used it or more familiar with it seem to really be impressed by it. For me, I think the issue is that stand, I think, really attaches to your desk, and so I sort of have to dedicate a desk to it. Though I think it is somewhat easy to move around, if I'm understanding correctly. But maybe one day I'll get it. I am very curious about it. Very curious. Okay. So, I think Tablet Kid's going to put in the Discord invite link. In this episode, what I wanted to focus on is just some news and tidbits, which is updates from various things that I've observed or learned, and some things that I've said before I just want to give you an update on. Originally, I wanted to do this live stream focused on getting answers to problems you're having. And we might still talk about that if people want to hang on. But the Discord crew said, hey, we want to talk about Intuos Pro 2017 versus Intuos Pro 2025. And there's some lingering questions about which one you should pick that I wanted to dive deep into that and talk about. Because I did my my review or notes on the 2025 model, but I said I would follow up with, well, how do you pick between the two? And so I thought, instead of just making my final video, let's live stream it a bit and get, again, some nice feedback from people. And then, of course, as we do in all of our streams, I'll provide a little bit of Q&A. Or we'll have a little bit of Q&A, and I'll stay as long as people want to answer the questions. Okay, so let's just do some quick updates. So first of all, I don't know, 2 months ago, I had a stream where I talked about mini PCs and what my requirements were. And so I just want to talk about 2 mini PCs that I have and share some initial thoughts. So first of all, it's not shown here, but I got a Mac Mini, an M4 Mac Mini. That thing is amazing. Like, it's unbelievably small. It's unbelievably powerful. It's basically silent. Like, you'd have to put your ear right up to it and you might hear the faintest sound. Now, did I stress test it? No, but, my normal thing is I try to export some video out of the software I use to create my videos. And, my other mini PCs will spin up. You'll hear their fans. This thing just stays quiet, like silent. So I love that about it. I'm going to do a video again on mini PCs, but I did want to update you on some other ones I got. I searched in my video for like 2 hours for like, what do I want? And this is one after the stream ended, I actually ended up buying, which is the Minisforum UM870 Slim. And it's less than $500. It's $480 US, with 32 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte SSD. You can see below there are several different configurations, but I got the 32 gigabytes with 1 terabyte, which is $480. And actually, I liked it so much. Now, it's not quite as powerful. It's not as powerful as the Mac Mini. Let's be honest. And it is not silent, but it's very, very quiet. And I'm very picky about silence. So, it's you do have to put your ear to it, or in a super quiet room, you might just barely be able to make it out. But it meets my requirements for quiet. That's the first important thing. Second of all, 32 gigabytes of RAM is a great amount to have. And 1 terabyte SSD is fantastic. At less than $500. I am loving this. In fact, I loved it so much, I got 2 of them. One of them was actually the demo PC I am showing you right now. And I do some tests. I do tablet testing with it. And I have another one, which is you can't see it, obviously. It's on another desk. And it's being used as my sort of, I would say, I just watch movies on it. And I do some of my blog work on that, right? I think Philip has a question on the Mac Mini. So I got a pretty high-end one. I believe I got, not the highest end, but I believe I have 64 gigabytes of RAM. And it's either 1 or 2 terabytes of storage. I can't remember that part. But it is incredibly fast. I think Mark Anthony in my Discord also has it, and maybe one more person does. It is fantastic. Now, I'll be honest with you. I would probably use it more. However, I just don't like macOS that much. Like, I can deal with it. So when I use it, I just tend to live in Clip Studio Paint or browse the web or listen to music. I tend not to do productivity stuff like, using Office, Microsoft Office. And I think Philip actually raised an interesting point here, which is, I was thinking of getting one, but I'd like to see if Wacom's touch drivers work well with a Mac version of CSP. That's a great question. I'll at least try that out with the Intuos Pro 2017 and just see if there's any noticeable difference. I will say in general, it is my belief that touch never works as well. First of all, I don't think touch works well with the Intuos Pro 2017. And in my experience, it has not worked as well, tablets, not specifically that one, with macOS. So I don't expect it to work great. That's because Windows is really built for touch. For like over 13 years now, they've been trying to incorporate touch. Okay, so I'm liking this one. I'll do another video really talking about it and the next tablet. Now, this is all again by Minus Forum, and this one is a much more I got a powerful version of this one. I think I got 96 gigabytes of RAM with this one, and 2 terabytes of storage with this one. And I gotta tell you, I don't like this one as much because I can hear the fan, which is on all the time. Now, maybe there's a way to correcting that. It is very powerful. It's much bigger than I expected. It's like the size of 3 Mac Minis. It's like the size of the old Mac Mini, the Intel Mac Mini. It is a good machine. I love the fingerprint sensor. You can log in by pressing the fingerprint. But it is just, I can hear the fan. It's not crazy loud, but it's like a laptop fan going off. Not in a very extreme way, but I got to work and see if I can change some curves or something for the fan to see if I can reduce the noise. So that was a little update. I have both of these. It's just kind of a coincidence. They're both Minus Forum. I have several Minus Forum PCs. Only because they're just the ones I found. Okay, next update I have for you is there's some videos I think you should watch. Okay, now you probably know in the United States, I guess the world, there's a situation about the prices of tech goods and tariffs. Brad Cobo actually made a video a few days ago, or yesterday, talking about how much we can expect prices to go up. And it's not, I guess the short answer is, if there's a tariff that's 100% on a good that we're purchasing in the United States that comes from another country, it doesn't mean the price will literally double. There's some other numbers involved. But we're still waiting to see the actual full impact. I haven't noticed it yet with anything, but I think we're in sort of a holding pattern to see what is going to happen. And I'm hoping we'll get this resolved quickly, so we won't have to deal with really crazy expensive tablets because they're starting to get expensive. Another thing is Brad did a couple of videos actually recently I just want to talk about because they're related to some devices you probably need to know about. Number one is the Galaxy Tab S10 FE. I'm a huge fan of the Galaxy Tab S9 FE. I watched this video on the S10 FE. Seems like a fine tablet. I didn't notice that it would be particularly a big upgrade from the S9 FE, so I'm not going to get it. I think maybe another generation or two, maybe there might be something interesting, but I didn't see the bump, right? So but it's a fine tablet. It's I think a little bit faster than the S9 FE, but it wasn't going to do anything for me. The sort of on the left side, you can see Brad made another video, which is the S10 FE versus the iPad Air. I think that's worth watching because right now, for standalone drawing tablets, these are really your two fundamental choices, which are the iPads, go the iPad direction, or the Samsung Galaxy Tab S series. And so these are the lower budget ones, which are still, I think, very, very good. And then finally in the middle, Huion did release an Android tablet. I forgot, was it Canvas Slate 13? I think the thing is it's just not that good a device, right? And Brad points out some reasons why. So I'm not planning on getting it. One of the reasons especially I'm not getting it, I just want to make it clear, it doesn't use Huion's new PW600 pen. It uses some random other kind of active stylus, which has to be charged, I think. And it's just not that good for drawing. So I would stay away from that one. And that was Brad's feeling as well. Okay, what's interesting is I'm not seeing a lot of Intuos Pro 2025 reviews out. And this is actually kind of surprising for me because it took me like almost 3 weeks to make my video, and it's been out for a while now. So we've seen Brad had a review, and now Aaron Rutten a few days ago added his review. It's also a very detailed review, and I think you'll like it. It's a bit longer than Brad's and much more detailed. The key thing that I think is interesting with Aaron's review is he actually puts all the specs and differences between the 2025 series on this table and compares them to the 2017 series. This is very convenient. I wish I had thought of this in my own video. And one thing he did, Tablet Kitten says reviews in China started to come out since March the 12th. Yeah, they've been around for a while, and I don't know what's going on. And let me just back up a second and explain how this is, quote, supposed to work. I mentioned I had worked for Microsoft for almost 30 years, and I've been a part of a lot of product launches. And what you're supposed to do is you talk to people like, reviewers, and you give them the product early, and you give them a review sheet or whatever you want to call it. It says, here's the key points we're trying to get across with this product, like how to position it, things to highlight. And, as a reviewer, they take that and they write a review. And you hope that they capture the point of the product, right? So, and this is all very planned out. In Microsoft, we would plan these things out many months in advance, right? We would know who's going to do the review, and we would talk to them, and we'd let them use the product, and we'd say here's what we want to focus on. And it was up to them. They didn't have to listen to a thing we said. Sometimes they're like, oh, I get what you're trying to do. Sometimes they're like, I'm not buying it. We want their honest opinion. But the key point is there should be a set of people that come out the day the product is launched. That didn't happen with the Wacom Intuos Pro 2025. The information about it, I guess, in a sense, got leaked in China, and you saw that with many videos on Bilibili. But in the rest of the world, the reviews have barely come out, which is wild. Now they will come out, I'm sure, but it's just weird, and I'm not sure what happened there. I feel like there was some kind of disconnect, right? And Wacom is a global company, so something has changed in their process. I don't think they forgot to do things. So maybe they've still got something planned, but we're in a holding pattern for reviews. But anyway, that's why I want to talk about the ones that have come out. Now another interesting. Now Tio has not done a review on the Wacom Intuos Pro 2025, but I want to point out he just last week he made a video on these three tablets. Okay, now this is important because the Artist Pro Gen 2 series from XP Pen has been generally a solid lineup, right? And I have I have three, just like he's showing in the picture, except the Artist Pro 24 Gen 2 he's showing is the 4K version, and I have the one that's like, it's the resolution under that, I think it's WQHD, but it's the one that does 165 hertz refresh rate. Anyway, it's a really good overview of the three tablets, and I was really happy he did it because someone had asked me to do it, and I can see what he did, and I can add my own perspective maybe in a few weeks. But until then, this is a good one to look at. I will say, having all three, and this is personal preference, I'm a huge fan of the Artist Pro 22 Gen 2. I think it is a very good tablet. And furthermore, it's a really good deal. Right now, I'm seeing it on sale for just about $600, which is down from about $700. So for a 22-inch pen display, you're going to have a hard time finding something that's this good at this price. So I think it's good. The only criticism I have about this specific tablet is it only comes with one pen instead of two. Okay, that's forgivable. And the second is the X3 Pro pens. Their pressure response is between units kind of inconsistent. Like it's either okay or great, and and I've got the numbers to show you to prove that. So you can have an okay or decent experience, but the next unit you get might have a great experience, right? So that's the only, that's a pen issue. It has nothing to do with the tablet. But I like this one. It works very well. I have it, and it's very easy to connect, and it just looks great. And I tell you, the 22-inch real estate, the size, works very, very well for me. And I think a lot of people, how can I say this? 16 is a good jump up from 13. 19 is a nice little jump, but it doesn't feel like a big jump. Your first big jump comes at 22, and that's why I like this 22-inch size. And I'm hoping Huion is going to give us the same thing, a Canvas Pro 22 Gen 3. They have not said that. I'm just hoping. Okay, I did my video on the Intuos Pro 2025, but there's some things I wanted to update, okay? And what are those things? Give me 1 second. I'm going to just change a few things. I'm going to turn down the volume just a little bit on the... there we go. A little bit. Okay. Tell me if I turn it down too low, because I hear a different thing than what you're hearing, okay? So, first of all, my written notes are published. If you go to the video, just at the bottom, you'll see written notes, and it links to this rather long URL. So all the written notes are there. And again, the written notes are more detailed, okay? Now, there are a couple of points I want to clarify in the written notes. Things I said in the video that I clarified in the video. Things I said in the video that I want to clarify in the written notes. The first was I said that there are two applications that control the tablets, the 2025 and 2027. But I said that there was a difference in how well they supported all the features. For example, I said specifically in this slide that the Wacom Tablet Properties app supports all the features of the 2017 model, but only some of the features of the 2025 model. But for the Wacom Center, it supports some of the features of the 2017 model and all of the features of the 2025 model. And I said, so you might want to take this into account because some people have problems with the Wacom Center. Either they don't like it or it crashes or something. But I did want to, when I look back on the video, I thought maybe the way I expressed this made it seem like when I put it only, the Wacom Tablet Properties app supports only some of the features within Intuos Pro 2025. It sounded like only a few of them, but that's not true at all. And I want to show you exactly what they support. So I went down and I compared what I would consider feature that you really have to have, okay? There's lots of features, but these are the ones you just have to have in normal daily operation, okay? And I'll just go through them. Tablet orientation, pen mode versus mouse mode, controlling which part of the screen you use, controlling how much of the tablet area you use, turning on and off Windows Ink, the pressure curve, and controlling what the buttons do on the pen. All of those features, which are super critical, are available in both places. The major features that I found that were only in Wacom Center had to deal with the express keys and dials. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that was clear, because I think, again, the way I made it sound, maybe it was like, oh, next to nothing is available in Wacom tablet properties, but actually, a lot of things are available in Wacom tablet properties. I just wanted to be clear on that topic. But you can't configure your express keys and dial action. So, that is still something that I think is very popular for people to do. So, at least maybe you can still use the Wacom Center just for that reason. Okay, the next thing is I got questions around the report rate. So I did some investigation. And the key thing here is I learned, it surprised me, there's two things to take away. Number one, the report rate depends on whether you're wired or wireless. No big surprise. The second thing is the report rate is different depending on which pen you're using. Now, these were my numbers, okay? So let's just go through the wired case. For the Pro Pen 3, I found a report rate of 300 hertz. For the Pro Pen 2, 200 hertz, so 200 reports a second. When it's wireless, it's different. It's lower, and this is the part that confused me, okay? Because you would sort of maybe believe the report rate should be lower when it's wireless. And it is for the Pro Pen 3. It went down to 260 hertz. For the Pro Pen 2, I don't know how this happened. I got to think about this. I actually found a higher number at 230 hertz. I cannot explain this. Maybe I measured something wrong. I don't think so, because I tried this multiple times. So I'll just do it again. In fact, the original time I did this, I thought I had seen that the Pro Pen 2 was at 200 hertz when wireless. And I measured a couple more times, and I found it went up to like 230 hertz. So a little bit of a mystery there, but I don't think these numbers are too surprising. Okay, Bluetooth. So Bluetooth, I did not have a chance to test when I ran the video. I did, in fact, finally test it over the last couple of days. First of all, everything worked fine. I was able to draw on Bluetooth perfectly well. I did notice a slight pointer lag compared to wired, but this is to be expected, okay? Because, and I saw the same thing with the Intuos Pro 2017. There is just a little bit more pointer lag. And again, I think lots of people may not notice, but if you're really sensitive to it, you might notice it. This is, again, one of the reasons I prefer not to use tablets with Bluetooth, even though they support it. Also, with this 2025 edition, Wacom has a feature where you can pair it with two computers, and there's a switch on the tablet, and you can connect a different computer depending on which one the switch is set to. And this spares you from having to unpair and repair, okay? Well, the good news is this works really well. I had two different computers set side by side, one wireless, one wired, two wireless, and I was able to just use the button to switch between them in a second or two. So didn't have to repair it all. It worked well. Having said that, some people seem to have problems. Now, on the Discord, some people forwarded this to me, and what's interesting is this person things are working completely well with their old Intuos Pro tablet. But something is happening with the Intuos Pro 2025, right? Because they have the 2013 Intuos Pro, but which is 2 generations old. But something's wrong with the 2025. Not sure what's going on here. I didn't see anything like that. I will test a few more computers to see if there's some other reason that might happen. But it's weird that she doesn't have a problem with her Intuos Pro, but the 2025 version is having a problem. So it's a little bit unusual. But again, I think there are maybe a few more reports of this, but I don't know if it's widespread yet. It does not seem to be widespread yet on our Wacom. I'm not seeing huge amounts of complaints about it. In fact, I'm not seeing that many at all, but I think some people are seeing it. Okay, So the real focus I want to talk about, and again, this is a discussion, which is, should you buy the Intuos Pro 2017 instead of the Intuos Pro 2025? And this is an interesting topic, and it, I think, largely depends on your situation, right? And so we'll talk about where I think it makes sense and where it doesn't make sense. And the other thing is, if you're going to go the 2017 route, how should you prepare for that? Because you do have to be prepared for it. So feel free in the chat or in the Discord to add, more comments. And I'm going to make sure I have the live stream chat going. And Philip, I see now your question, so I'll definitely take a look at that. Okay, so by the way, I don't think this is an easy answer, but I'll try to give some basic thinking now. First of all, and I said this in my original notes on the original video, if you already have an Intuos Pro 2017, keep it. I don't think you're going to find there's anything compelling that would make you upgrade. Now, if you find something compelling in this tablet, then yes, go ahead. But I don't think the vast majority of people who own Intuos Pro 17 are going to look at what the tablet offers and say, oh, I have to have it, right? So I don't think I said this before, I do not think it's a must-have upgrade. Take your time, right? And we're going to talk a lot about time in this video. Okay, now what if you don't have a Wacom Intuos Pro already, right? You don't have any Wacom Intuos Pro. Well, should you... actually, this slide slightly has an incorrect comment here. It's because it talks about an upgrade. Okay. So notice I say generally. I generally recommend the Intuos Pro 2025. Okay. But there are some things that you need to account for, right? And I'll just go ahead and just write them down now here, right? Number one, like if you can handle no touch. Nope. So I think this is a real issue. If you have to have multi-touch support, or the placement of the express keys is going to be weird for you, this may not be the right tablet for you. And again, this reflects something I said about 10 days ago, right? I think the Intuos Pro 2025 is an excellent choice for a tablet. It's just that it's different from the Intuos Pro 2017 in certain ways that are going to be hard to deal with, okay? For some people. Even I'm adjusting, to be honest. Now, if you're going to get the Intuos Pro 2017, you need to prepare yourself, okay? And we're going to go through the differences in a second. Very specific. We'll go, slide by slide. We'll talk about what are the differences and what this means for you if you're going to get the Intuos Pro 2017. But the key thing I want to lay in your head now is that you need to prepare, okay? Because there's what's the right word here? A timer has started. A timer has started where it's going to get, and the timer, is ticking down, and it's not going to sort of hit the next stage for a couple of years. But then starting in a couple of years, something's going to change, and then we're going to have to really adjust. So you need to prep for that. And we're going to talk about what that is in these slides. So let's just talk about the differences, okay? First of all, cost. So here's the retail cost. Now, I can't say for every region what the cost is, but in the United States, and at least a couple of the places I've looked at, the retail cost of both tablets is the same. So, if you go to Amazon.com, you're not going to, or Wacom.com's electronic e-store, you're not going to save any money by getting a Intuos Pro 2017, right? So cost is not the issue, okay? At least buying a new tablet. Now, used cost, we absolutely expect to see that the Intuos Pro 2017 prices are, this means used cost means on eBay, essentially, we expect to see that these prices are going to drop. Okay, for sure, a lot of artists are going to be, just have to have the latest thing, and this is the latest thing, so they're going to get the Intuos Pro 2025, and they're more than likely going to sell their Intuos Pro 2017. So we expect the prices to drop. I don't think I've especially seen the prices drop. I mean, they're a little bit lower, but I haven't seen any dramatic decreases yet. I'll keep on watching eBay. But those drops I don't expect to happen fast either. I think it's going to take time, right? And in fact, it may take longer because I think, again, this goes back to my statement earlier. For some people, upgrading to the 2025 is not going to be the right decision. So they're going to hang on to these tablets, and they're going to get the sense that these are still valuable for a while. So I'm not sure the price is going to drop quickly. Okay. Used cost in Intuos Pro 2025, it's technically too early to tell. But, if you go on eBay, you'll see, based on the experience of the 2017 model, you can find some great deals sometimes. Some amazing deals, actually. But they tend to still be, pretty expensive, even used. And by great deals, I think the theory, what's happening is, people, maybe a company buys some of these, and they just get rid of them. They don't know the value of these tablets, right? And so I think someone told me once they got a Intuos Pro 2017 large for like $50. That's a tablet that costs $400, right? Or is it actually? It's actually a bit more. Yeah, $500, and they got it for $50, and that was and basically an unused one. So it does happen. It does happen. Okay, Pro Pen cost. So the Intuos Pro Pen 2 is $80, considered super expensive. Pro Pen 3 is $130. So if you're going to go with the Intuos Pro 2025 edition, and you love the Pro Pen 3, you have to be prepared to spend more money if you ever break that pen. Yes, you can always get a Pro Pen 2, which is good, and it works perfectly fine on the new tablet. But be aware of this cost, and this is something that people often forget, is to note the total cost of ownership, but this is one of them. Broken pens are going to cost you some real money. Now, the good news is selected Wacom UD-EMR pens, while they don't work with the 2017 edition, they do work with the 2025 edition, and they're cheap. They're $30 to $40. Now, again, they're not great pens, not by any stretch of the imagination. But if you ever break your pen, this would be a great backup pen. So this is one reason why I think the Intuos Pro 2025 is, what's the right phrase here? It, in some sense, is more capable of surviving longer term use because you have cheaper backup options for pens. Here's the real problem. This is the timer that is turned on. Okay. So roughly speaking, and I'm sure I don't have the number exactly right, but I think we generally think of it this way. Wacom, when they release a new tablet, you have about 10 years that they'll keep supporting that tablet, okay? So what does that mean? Every year, every couple of times a year, Wacom adds a new driver, okay? And we'll talk about why they do that in a second, because that is important. And basically, the driver, after some years, usually about 10, though it is more in some cases, the driver, what'll happen is you'll be using your tablet, everything's working, you update the driver, and then your tablet literally just says to you, we don't work with this tablet anymore. Buy a new tablet. Okay, now, what has happened? Did the driver somehow break the tablet? No. Like, the hardware has not been affected. It hasn't, it hasn't been bricked, as I say, right? It's just that literally the code in the driver just asks what version of the tablet it is, what model number, and if it's in the the list of old tablets, it just refuses to work with the tablet, right? Could it work with the tablet? Absolutely. but they have made the decision not to make it work. Okay? Now, the timer. The Intuos Pro 2017 edition, by definition, was released in 2017. So we expect that timer to kick in at 2027. Now, meaning sometime after 2027. Now, we don't know the exact end date for this, okay? And I really think they'll probably keep it even longer till 2030. Okay, and we'll talk about what happens. When that happens, you have some choices. You can go back to an earlier version of the driver, and it should still work. Okay, so you can go back to like just the previous version you were using, and that will work forever-ish. Okay, and the reason I say that forever-ish is like the driver is coded to work, but what always happens is Windows or Mac OS will change. And that change will do something. It will require an update to the driver. In other words, the old drivers, which haven't changed their code, will suddenly not work correctly for this tablet you've had for a decade. And so we don't know when that would happen. Like, it just depends on how much Microsoft Windows changes or Mac OS, but it's possible, right? And Philip has a comment here. Absolutely tragic to see long-lasting hardware get messed up by software. Thank goodness for being able to revert driver versions and OTD. And Philip, I'm so glad you mentioned OTD, Open Tablet Driver, because I am going to talk about that quite explicitly in this video, right? So if you're a user of a 2017 tablet, either now or you're going to get one, you have to keep this in the back of your head, okay? Because it's going to happen. And I'm going to talk to you about what your options are, as Philip says there is one. Or as Philip alludes to, there is one. Now, 2025 edition, going back to this 10-year theory, we don't expect any driver issues up until 2035. Okay? Could they do it sooner? Sure. I don't expect it to. And it's not like Wacom. Have never seen Wacom promise this 10-year time span. Okay? But it seems like that's the pattern. Okay? And Tablet Kitten has a comment. Thank goodness Wacom provides drivers for deprecated tablets. Yes, that's fantastic. Wacom still provides all their old tablet drivers, right? And I'm very thankful that's the case, because that can still keep, as long as you need to, as long as you can, you should be using Wacom's official tablet drivers, okay? Until they can't work. Okay. Now, what happens on that day when you're you're trapped? And trapped means the Wacom driver the new Wacom driver won't let you work with your tablet, and the old Wacom driver won't work because Windows has broken it. So now you got a real problem, because the old drivers won't work and the new drivers won't work with your tablet. Okay, you've got a lifeline. That lifeline is called Open Tablet Driver, OTD. Okay. Now, OTD does fully support Intuos Pro 2017 edition, but you have to understand a couple of things. First of all, there are some features that are not supported. Wireless is one, and touch is not supported. I think the express keys are supported. I don't know if the dial does anything with Open Tablet Driver. But, if you're drawing, maybe you just don't need the dial. Okay. The other thing is, to be quite honest, if you're a tech guy, girl, you can deal with OTD. Like, you know what to do with OTD. You can install it and install its plugins and configure it. It's understandable how to do that. If you're just an artist and you're focusing on art and not tech stuff, it can be challenging. Because on Windows, Open Tablet Driver requires you to install, I hate to bring up this kind of detail, but some other driver component called vMulti or vMulti. And understanding how to install that is its own challenge. It's not hard, but it's a lot of things you have to do. And on top of it, Open Tablet Driver has to be configured to use something called Windows Ink. And Open Tablet Driver only uses Windows Ink, by the way. And on top of that, you have to configure Windows Ink to do the right things for pressure and the button. So like I have an instruction manual which is very detailed for people who want to do it, but that's the price of using Open Tablet Driver. Okay, it's more challenging to set up on Windows, and not quite as challenging to set up on Mac, but still a little bit challenging. Now, Intuos Pro 2025, I think Open Tablet Driver right now does sort of support it with a file called a config, but I think built-in support is coming. But again, wireless is not supported and touch is not supported, right? Touch is fine because that tablet doesn't support touch anyway, right? So if you really have a problem, if you're having the situation where your Windows or Mac OS doesn't let you use the tablet driver, and the tablet driver doesn't let you use your tablet, no matter which tablet you are, check out Open Tablet Driver, and if you're uncomfortable installing it, get a friend to help you. Okay, it's not really that hard. It just behaves a little differently than you might expect. And it's very reliable, it's very safe, it's high performance. You'll notice less pointer lag with it, but it's going to be your option. And just so you know, Open Tablet Driver, as you can guess by the name, is an open source project. It isn't just compatible with Wacom tablets. It is compatible with over 200 tablets. I have used Open Tablet Driver for really old Wacom tablets. I've used them in Intuos 4 XL, Intuos 3, Intuos 2, which was released like in 1995, 1996. Worked fine, right? So it can this comment at the top will keep your tablets alive is totally true, right? And it works with Wacom. It works with Huion tablets. It doesn't work with every tablet out there, but 200's a lot. It tends to work with more pen tablets, screenless tablets, than pen displays, screen tablets. But lots of people use it, especially in the OSU community. They play a game, and this driver works really well for that. So I just want to let you know this is what you might have to get into if you're going to keep one of these tablets longer. And I'm also spending time talking about this for those of you who are on Intuos 3 and 4, because at some point you might face the same problems with your tablet drivers just don't work. And this is a way out of it, okay? Okay, now we have to talk about some accessory things with Intuos Pro 2017. So the first is texture sheets. So I covered in the video that, they both have different kinds of texture sheets, large and medium for the 2017 edition, large, medium, small for the 2025 edition. Right now, texture sheets are very available for both products, but what we have seen for years now with the Intuos Pro 2017, texture sheets seem to be available for some time, and then they're just not available for some time, okay? And of course, Wacom is not producing more texture sheets. So we will expect that the supply of texture sheets is declining, okay? So if you're gonna get Intuos Pro 2017, I would highly recommend get an extra texture sheet. Okay, get 2 or 3 of them. Keep them around because you can essentially get yourself a new tablet. Those texture sheets are also very good if you're buying a used tablet, because the primary damage, besides the pen, that people do to a tablet is they scratch up the surface. You get one of these, you can buy one of the new used tablets, and you essentially get a pristine Intuos Pro 2017. So take advantage of texture sheets. I'm so paranoid about texture sheets. Whenever I see them online, I buy them. And in fact, I bought 3 texture sheets for the Intuos Pro 2025 edition, just in case I was going to have problems later. Okay. Pen availability, it's pretty good for both the Pro Pen 3, of course, and the Pro Pen 2. Though I think we're going to see Pro Pen 2 start to decline over a while. Now, it's going to take some years because there are just a lot of Pro Pen 2 units out there. A lot are still in inventory. There's a lot being sold on eBay. So eventually, though, you're going to have to resort to eBay because you're just not going to be able to find it on Amazon or any other online store. Okay. The other thing about the Intuos Pro 2025, which again, not only is the Pro Pen 3 new and thus it's going to be available for a long time, these UD-EMR pens, selected ones like the Samsung S Pen, will work with the new tablet. So those pens are very highly available, and I think they're going to be highly available for a long time because I don't see that Samsung is going to switch from their S Pen to something else for if ever, right? So you're always covered there to some level, better than you are with the Intuos Pro 2017. So this is a mark in favor for the Intuos Pro 2025 edition because you have the pens are available for longer. Portability, I would, it's not a versus one is bad or good. I think the Intuos Pro 2017 is very good at being portable. It's thin, it's very rugged. I think if you just covered it in some basic protection, you'd be fine as long it doesn't scratch easily. The Intuos Pro 2025 is even better, primarily because it is just smaller, right? And it still seems super rigid. The what do you call it? Magnesium alloy body is very nice, very rigid. So I think they're both good for portability, though the Intuos Pro 2025 has the edge in size, okay? Now, what about the durability of those Express keys? It's hard to say. I don't think either has, I don't think there's an advantage to either one. So I'll say that as far as those Express keys go, as long as you're not dropping the tablet and crushing those keys, you should be fine in either case. Okay, I covered durability, so I think it's excellent. Nib wear. Okay, this is interesting. Your nibs will wear faster on the Intuos Pro 2017. Not quite as fast as the 2025. What this means is, again, you have to be prepared. Buy nibs. Don't just buy spare pens. Buy nibs now when they're available. Okay? I believe I think I tried the Intuos Pro 2020, the Pro Pen 3 nibs with the Pro Pen 2. So that you should still be able to use those nibs, actually. They fit and they worked. So I think we're okay here, but I still think it's better if you use the nibs that are designed for use with your pen. So buy them. USB connection, nothing changed here. They both use USB-C, so there's no difference. Wireless, again, they both support wireless. The Intuos Pro 2025 edition can compare to two computers at the same time. I did point out earlier, some people seem to have problems with the Bluetooth in the 2025 edition. I didn't experience that. I'll do some more testing, but something to keep in mind. And then, so ultimately, if you're going to get your Intuos Pro 2017, get more texture sheets, get replacement nibs, get a spare pen, protect the surface if you can't find texture sheets. You can find they're officially screen protectors from companies like Photodon. Maybe you can use those on top of your existing one. Just protect your investment as long as you can. And also, you really have to plan for driver support to end. First, you need to be aware of the timing. So around 2027, you might see something happen. You want to be prepared for that moment, okay? And learn about Open Tablet Driver. I'm not suggesting you go out and install it right now, but just be prepared that it might happen. But if it does happen, you're covered. Open Tablet Driver will keep your tablet alive. Okay, that covered my primary topics for Intuos Pro 2017 versus 2025. I'm going to take some of the feedback and questions we had here and make it an official video. So in some time we can take up any Q&A. So if people have any questions or topics they want to talk about, feel free to raise them and let's see what people say. And I'll put my face back on. Mihao has for sizes less than medium, I recommend graphite sheet from AliExpress and spare nibs, also from Ali. Mihao, can you add the links to that, please? That'd be great. Just so people know which ones we're talking about. And one question I had for you, Mihao, about those graphite sheets is, I know you mentioned it in the Discord, but how durable were they? Like, how long would you expect them to last? Oh, less than large. Okay, got it. Because I wasn't sure if those were, things you're using for a week or two and then get new sheets, or because they're not very thick, right? If I understood you correctly. So if you can point out maybe, just what your experience has been like with their durability. Because I want to try them out too, by the way. Okay, looking for any other comments in the Discord as well. Let's see, the sheet, more durable than the default protector. They don't scratch. What? Oh, now I really have to try these. For some reason in my head, maybe I'm confusing this with some other kind of sheet, which was like paper, basically. I think that's why I was asking about durability. So this is interesting. This is very interesting. Oh, well, he's had another comment. I've used them since August 2024 till February 2025. No damage at all. Okay, now I'm very interested in these sheets. Okay, yeah. This is good because you've discussed them, but in my head, I always thought they weren't that durable. So now I'm very curious about them. Okay, any other questions or comments you'd like me to address? Philip, I will get to your thing again after the stream. I see it now in the live stream chat. Okay, I'll just give it a few more minutes. In the meanwhile, maybe I should just go back and I just want to talk about. I'll talk about the mini PCs actually, because this is actually quite interesting for me. I really think we're at a good inflection point for PCs like this, because a 32 gigabyte, 1 terabyte storage machine is pretty good. Like, it's hard to find a reasonable laptop with those specs, right? And so I've been really happy with this, and not to overfocus on this specific model, but I'll say this. The ultimate goal of me researching mini PCs was to find how can I say this? For someone getting a drawing tablet, I wanted to give them, let's just say a range of budgets, right? Like, if you're willing to pay $700, maybe $800, what could you get? Now, that's not cheap per se, but for an entire computer system and a tablet, you could get something quite reasonable. So, for example, I see Mihao has posted a picture. I'll actually show it so people can see this thing. Ooh, look at this. That's the graphite sheet. That's for 1 year of usage. It's not bad. I like it. Okay, I will definitely check it out. And let's see. There's another comment somewhere here. Okay. Let me get to. Okay, so this is $500, and I was gonna do a video showing, like, what the Canvas 13 Gen 3 is, like $250. So that's, oh, but they don't have the sheet for the L size. Okay. That's sad. That's what I really want. Which reminds you, I'm gonna get the Intuos Pro L, the Intuos Pro 25L as soon as I can. Actually, let me check. Does Wacom have it now? It should almost be there, right? Wacom store. Let's take a look. tablets, Intuos Pro. Ah, still out of stock. It's killing me. I really want to try this tablet so badly. Anyway, let me get back to my PowerPoint here. I wanted to be able to offer, this plus a Canvas 13 is going to be less than $800. And I think in that price you could even get a keyboard and mouse. And I think this would be a very nice setup, right? And it's very interesting. It is in stock on Taobao. Okay. It's Tablet Kitten always knows where things are in stock earlier than it is in the United States, so it's good to know this. So yeah, I think I want to tell people this would be a setup I'd be happy to recommend. Again, defocus on whether it's this specific Minisforum PC. The point is, lots of people come up in the Reddit, and they're getting started with digital art, and they're like, should I get this? Should I get this? And sometimes they want to be portable, sometimes they don't. I thought this was a nice setup. And in fact, this will scale to tablets that are much more powerful. So for example, I've been using this very tablet with the XP Pen Artist Pro 22 Gen 2. I have been using it with, I forgot which one, I think it was the Canvas Pro 19 also, a 4K pen display, right? So like, we're in a really good spot now where we can have relatively powerful systems. Now, would I game with this? No. Is it, are you going to hear its fan go on if you're like exporting some video or something? Yeah, of course. But this is really good. This is good. I'm very happy with this, right? Mihao says, the fact that we are, 2 months after launch and there are still availability problems is wild. Yeah, it is crazy. Especially, look, I'm going to bet that they sell more Intuos Pro than Cintiq Pro. That's a bet because I still think, because they're cheaper, more people get pen tablets than pen displays. I'd love to be wrong about that, but I think that's true. And the Intuos Pro is their flagship product, right? This is their, if you ever heard the term in the audio industry, Halo car, this is their Halo tablet, right? At least I think it is. It's the one you look up to. It's the one that it should be revolutionary, right? And for it not to have all the reviewers out and the inventory's not there, something has happened. Was it tariff related? I don't know. Talbot says, been checking on Chinese market and socials too much. Hey, but it's much appreciated. Your doom scrolling addiction I very much appreciate it. Thank you, is what I have to say. Okay, so I want to talk about the other one. This tablet. This one. Again, my issue here is that I loved everything about this tablet. And at launch, it was on a good discount. 2 terabyte storage and 96 gigabytes of RAM. And I paid about $900 or something, I think. That was crazy, right? And I wanted to love this, but I can hear the fan. And to me, it's a deal. Again, not loud, but it's an issue for me. I will say the fingerprint authentication is really nice. But I'll try again with this one. But this is why I intended to be my higher end recommendation, right? Like $1,000 for this, maybe $600 for a tablet. So within $1,700, you could get a relatively powerful machine, right? So again, I will do a mini PC roundup. I'll be doing one with, I'll be talking about the Mac Mini, this one, the previous one, the UM870 Slim, and then also I have another Minisforum, HX99G, which is probably the most powerful of the Minisforums that I have. But it's very good. It's one of my daily driver machine, and I do all my videos on it, actually. Okay, I'm not seeing too many more questions, so I'll just give it one more minute, and then we can end the stream. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about, maybe with Brad or any other of these reviewers. Yeah, there is actually a topic I want to talk about here, which was, where was it? I didn't do this in my notes, so I need to do it, which is Android support. Now, Aaron has listed no on the Intuos Pro large, medium, and small, the 2017 models, which I thought was true, but he listed partial on the 2025 models, and I don't know. I have to review his video and see what that means, and I'll test it out. I think that was the only thing that surprised me from his list. I got that. Bezel width. Yeah, I thought it was a really excellent table, so I'm glad he put it together. And let's see if there's anything else I wanted to say. I talked about these 3 tablets. Okay, I think, again, Artist Pro 22 Gen 2, very good tablet. Unfortunately, I'm behind on so many videos. I have yet to write my notes down on this, but rest assured I will get to it. Okay, I think we're good with comments. Everyone, thank you for your time. I really appreciated it. I love getting out, in the middle of the night and just having a quick chat with you. And I promise for some of you who want different times, I will pick better times as well. I might even do this session one more time. With that, I did want to announce I'm going to do another live stream, which is going to be on mods. Mods meaning modifications, like things you can create or even buy that modify how your pen and how your tablet work, right? And then those will be things where we can, just see how people change their workspace or have really customized their experience. I know, kid, I'm ending just the time you came. But if you have any questions, I can hang on a bit longer. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with answering more questions. We can review, we can go back to topics that we even covered if you'd like. That's one of the reasons I do it late night, is like I'm a little bit of a, what do you call it? Night owl. Oh, okay. Here's a good question. Have I ever tried Open Tablet Driver? Yes, I have. In fact, I used Open Tablet Driver exclusively to draw with for about 6 months. And while I would not recommend it for the average person because it can be challenging to set up, it worked extremely well for my purposes, especially though when I customized it. I definitely remember. I can keep you and Tablet Kitten apart. Thank you for reminding me though. But back to your question, it's I had a really good experience with it. Again, it's just a bit challenging to install for most people, especially on Windows. It's a bit easier to deal with on Mac, right? So, kid, just let me know if you have any questions for the Intuos Pro 25 or any other questions. I've got time for you all. It's Mir. There we go. Okay, I'm going to say Mir. Mir. Is it Mir like peace Mir? You know what I'm saying? Okay, we got Dandy here. Oh, look, now we have questions. Okay. Hey, Seven, I'm getting a Wacom Cintiq Pro 13 used for pretty cheap since I need something I can shove in a bag with multi-touch. Cintiq Pro 13. I think I have this one, or I have to double check. I'm not sure if I have this one or another Cintiq Pro, another Cintiq 13. I'd have to double check. In either case, I have not used it. It's a little bit of an older tablet. I'll check my inventory list. Dandy, are you in the Discord? And you know what? I think I know. Maybe now I can figure out how to do my. I can post a link to the Discord. I think I have the skill. Let's see if this works here. Copy link address. Let's paste it in here. Okay, Dandy, I just put a link in the Discord. Please, well, if you don't want to, you don't have to. But the Discord is a great place to talk about tablets. And we're chatting about tablets all day, okay? On Reddit, I don't really chat as much, of course. I'm mostly just answering questions, kind of just modding things, right? But we have lots of people online in the Discord who are really chatting. And Mir has revealed it's inspired by a character from the rhythm game Archaea. Her name's also Mir, one of my favorite characters. Kitten, yes, we talked about it actually. And now that you bring it up, I want to talk about it again. So what I'll do is I'll simplify it to explain what's going on here. Let me close this comment. Okay. Brad Cobo made some videos recently, and there's 3 of them listed here. And the middle one is Huion made an Android tablet. So, great, Andy, you joined. Fantastic. I think you'll really like it. So here's the takeaway, okay? And I knew when I saw the specs for this tablet I wasn't going to get it. And I'll tell you why. Huion, first of all, it doesn't use Huion's pen, right? It doesn't use any of the PW pens, right? It certainly doesn't use the PW600 pen. It uses an active stylus, meaning it has a battery inside. And so what's that tell us? It's not really an EMR drawing tablet. And what that tells us is the drawing experience is at least weird, right? It wouldn't live up to what I would like as a drawing tablet. So I knew from the beginning I would not be getting this tablet. This tablet, and by the way, Brad talks about this. It looks like the tablet is kind of it looks like a generic tablet that's been Huion branded, right? And it makes sense. This happens at companies all the time. They brand something, and then if there's enough interest, maybe it becomes an actual in-house product. But this didn't seem like it'd give me a great experience. And Brad agrees. At least as I recall his video, he didn't recommend it either, right? And trust me, I wanted them to do good here. I really, okay, let me just back up. I'm going to go through my Huion spiel. Okay. Right now, you guys know, I feel like Wacom is struggling. Okay? They're struggling, and forget about how much money they've earned, which is its own problem. What are their profits, right? Or whether their business is doing good or bad. They're struggling because the prices have gone up, but I think lots of us feel like the innovation has diminished and the value for the money has diminished, okay? Or at least we're not getting as much as we think we should. I think that's a fair criticism of Wacom. And I'm getting to Huion on this tablet, by the way. So companies like Huion and Sense Labs and XP Pen are now ascendant, okay? They were ascendant. They have slowly crawled up every year or so and made better products. And over this past year, first of all, for a non-Wacom tablet, Huion released several tablets, Canvas Pro 19, Canvas Pro 27, and the Canvas, 13 Gen 3 and the Canvas 16 Gen 3, which have updated their pen tech. And their new pen tech 4.0 with their new PW600 series pens is really good. And they're so good. It's the first time, and they're consistent as well, based on my measurements. It's the first time I felt like, oh, we have something that is like, in a manufacturing sense, repeatable, right? They're making good pens consistently. And it's all lining up, right? I'm so happy about the Canvas Pro 19 and 27 and the Canvas 13 Gen 3. Huion sort of, won my awards for year 2024. And I was hoping all of that was going to carry into this Android tablet. So when I watched Brad's video, I was really disappointed because it doesn't fit in with all the other stuff I saw from them, right? And that's why I'm especially kind of disappointed. I hope in the future they'll update this and they'll provide a version, but you gotta, I want to see the pen tech there. If it's not there, it's not worth getting. Right? Sorry, another long rant, but look at me, how Patrick. 7 single-handedly decreasing walk-up stock value. They don't need any help with that. By the way, I wanted to ask why 2N 16 Gen 3 works in line wobble on 13 Gen 3. Great question. Mira, this is a big mystery to me. It's a very big mystery to me. I will say, to add on to that, if you look at the XP Pen Artist 13 Gen 2 and Artist 16 Gen 2, I also noticed that the 13 model doesn't have the wobble, but the 16 does. So there's something going on here in my head, right? There's something in my head which is associating 16 inches as a kind of local maxima, so to speak, where we're seeing wobble. I have no clue why it is. It is a mystery to me. It's very much a mystery to me. But I will continue researching and testing. Danny says, I love my Huion 19 Pro. Works like a charm. I don't have any other experience with their products. See, Danny, you picked the best of the tablets they've ever made. You coincidentally landed on the best one they ever made, along with the Huion Canvas Pro 27. So you picked the right one to start with, right? And I want every one of their tablets to live up to that one. Mir says, I should change my name to Mir. People call me Kitten, makes me, I don't know. I get it. I totally get it. By the way, I was asking you, Mir, why was that? Oh, yeah. The Soviet Union had a space station that used to orbit the Earth, like the ISS, and it was called Mir. And that's why, that name, I think it means peace, actually. I can't remember. I don't speak Russian. But that's why I thought you were maybe, it was named after that. Because it's a nice word, right? Peace. I think it meant peace. Awamenta. Hello. We're just taking questions. Technically, I went through all the content. But if you have questions, Awamenta, please feel free to ask. I am a night owl, so I've got all the time in the world to deal with questions. We would probably need a teardown of 13 and 16 to know why 16 is worse. Yes. I have been giving it some thought, Mihao, and how can I say this? And if people, for some of you, this may be hard to follow, but I know Mihao will get me. Those coils, right? I wonder if it has to do with coil density, right? Maybe they're just not as dense on the 16 for some reason, right? Uh, 16 is such a great size. Sad there's just not An excellent. Yes. Yes. I'm waiting for that too. Actually, I will say this. There is there is a 16 pen display, which is awesome. Unfortunately, it's $1,200. And that's the Wacom Cintiq Pro 16, the 2021 model. Fantastic tablet in every dimension, but crazy expensive. So it's that weird thing, right? You're right, we need an excellent one in that category. Yeah, see, exactly. Well, I mean, at least I think so. Its origin is Russia, but inspired by Mir from arcade. Okay, that's the new explanation. That's what I'm buying. Okay, Mir means Mir means peace or world, although the world itself now has negative connotations in Eastern EU. Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up. Yeah. It's unfortunate that world events intrude upon our lives like this. I mean, and we have it easy. There's some people in the eastern part that have it very rough. So I'm sorry if anyone was disturbed by that. That was, I just sort of forget sometimes there's a sensitivity on this topic. I was about to buy another display tablet, but I was wondering if the Wacom One 13 Touch is better than the Cintiq 16, since the 13 has less parallax because it's laminated. Uh, 13 Touch. You know, how I meant to. First of all, are you on our Discord? I think so. First of all, I have the Wacom 113 Touch, and I believe I have the Cintiq 16. So I'd have to double check, but I can test it out. And let me just go ahead and the reason is you might want to join the Discord because it's a good place to have this conversation. Okay, I'm going to paste that here. So yeah, if I have it, I'll be happy to turn them both on and take a look at the parallax, right? That's one thing in general, I think, that is a general sense that these older Wacom Cintiqs don't have, so they have more parallax than you might expect. Though I have to be honest, I have seen unlaminated displays have very little parallax, right? Or little enough, right? Okay, I'm not on Discord, but I'll join it tomorrow in the morning. Perfect. We talk about tablets all day. It's a great place to be for these kind of questions. And then Miha says, it was a cool station, so no offense taken. A snapshot of a hopeful world. What a beautiful sentiment. Thank you for saying it. That was very nicely put, Miha. Let me take a drink of water. Like I was saying earlier, I am planning to do a stream on mods, maybe Thursday morning or Friday morning. I'll do it. So I'll try to schedule it early so people know when it's happening. Is there any speculation on why Wacom removed the multi-touch with the new generation Intuos Pro? It seemed like a step backwards. They told us. Okay. And let me just tell you what they've told us. I forgot where they wrote this. I'm fairly sure I read this on Twitter, and I can double check. But they got a lot of heat for some of these issues. Sorry, not issues. Their choices for the Intuos Pro 2025. What they said was most users were not using the touch. And, I think they said also that those that were having touch, a lot of them were not happy with it. So rather than keeping a feature with, and I think they said, which just adds to the thickness of the tablet and which, makes the tablet more expensive and, it's just one more component that might fail. I don't know if they said that part, but that's just an inference. They just said they're going to remove it. I don't blame them, honestly. Listen, I hated the touch on the Intuos Pro 2017. Right? I couldn't stand using it. Every time I actually turned it on, it only got turned on because I actually turned it on. And every time I did, it just drove me crazy, right? Now, could it have been worked in such a way that I wouldn't felt as crazy about it? Sure. So I can understand that they got a lot of this feedback, right? And the fantasy with the Intuos Pro 2017 is that touch would make it feel like, have you used that Apple Magic trackpad, right? See, that thing feels amazing. Touch on the Intuos Pro 2017 never felt amazing. And it was better than older Intuos Pros that had touch. So I don't blame that they removed it, right? I really don't blame that they removed it at all. It makes sense. Meow says, I can agree that 2017 touch was very bad. 2010 smart touch. Exactly. And also, it didn't do things we've come to expect. So first, here's an example. We are trained now, because of our trackpads, that you can double click and you get like a click because there's haptic feedback. It delivered no such feedback, right? I found clicking, right, which I can do easily with a multi-touch trackpad on a laptop or the Apple Magic trackpad. That was easy there, but with the Intuos Pro 2017, it was clumsy to click. Another thing was the surface was huge. Like your trackpads are, like this big, but that's a big one. The Intuos Pro, it's like this big. I was using a large one too, right? So it was crazy to move my hand around, right? Let's see, Dandy says, but even the older, cheaper models, which are really thin, like the ancient bamboo Fun had touch. I know the newer Cintiq Pros have great touch features, so if they kept the toggle... Yeah, you've got a really good point here, Danny, because... there's two things coming out of your comment that I think are worthy of talking about. Number one, this weird... So, you mentioned Bamboo Fun, which is obviously a consumer model. Wacom has, over time, taken features that were available in the consumer model and removed them and put them only on their professional model. Great example is buttons, right? They have tended to remove buttons from their tablets. Touch is another example, right? And now they've removed it from their Pro tablets as well. So they're always doing, okay, and I'll tell you one thing more. They even make the pens work worse on the some of the consumer tablets. And the second part is, This is they say it causes the tablet to be too thick and yeah, but this is your point, which is really good. But the Cintiq Pros have good touch. And so why not keep it, right? And I don't think that layer added that much thickness, by the way, right? I took apart an Intuos Pro and I saw the touch layer. It wasn't this huge thing. It was very thin. Right? But remove it completely, that is some survivor bias. That's true. And Danny says, yeah, the touch sucked, but they improved the technology, so that's kind of why I was disappointed. You got a good point. That's a fantastic point, right? How is it that they can remove the touch from the pen tablets in Intuos Pro, but keep them on the Cintiq Pros? I turn it off in the Cintiq Pros too. Right? All the arguments you can make about the Intuos Pro and why to remove it apply to the Cintiq Pro. Thickness, cost, complexity, complaints, right? And I'd have trouble believing they're using different technology. right? Like, why would you use one technology for touch on the screen and a different one for the Intuos Pro? No, I'm glad you brought that up. That it does make it now more of a mystery, huh? But we'll see. Okay, let me go. Let me get back to Huion for a second, and how disappointed I am that they didn't give us a great experience with this Android tablet. So I don't know what's going on right now, but there seems to be a pause in Huion. Like PenTech 4.0, which I raved about in every video I've ever had where I talked about those pens and those tablets. I've talked about how good it is, right? And since the Canvas 16 Gen 3, I haven't seen PenTech 4.0 be released in any Huion tablets. So we're waiting, and I wonder if this is tariff related, actually, right? So that's one thing I'm really curious about. If I'm expecting Huion's going to do it at some point soon, but like I would have expected it by now, honestly. Okay, let's see. Dandy says, yeah, the toggles are great. I use touch since I was trained on drawing on a phone, but I'm glad it's a toggle for people who find it annoying for a Pro model. It should be kept as an option. Yeah, and you know what? I think touch is... I was going to do a video talking about what's a Pro tablet versus a non-Pro tablet, because the lines are very blurred, right? So for a Pro tablet, you want to maintain features which are kind of, special. And I thought touch was a great example. The fact that Wacom took touch away was mystifying to me. Just absolutely mystifying to me. Now, Daniel Percy says, it makes sense that they have a different approach to touch with Cintiq and Intuos, since the ergonomics of working with the two tablets are very different. I'd love if you could clarify that a little bit more, Daniel Percy. Are you talking just about maybe how it's physically positioned, like one's more upright and one's flat? Or did you mean something else? I just love a little clarification there. I get that. That's why I think toggle is great, since it allows both types of artists to work with it however they please. Yeah, a toggle worked for me. And don't get me wrong, by the way. When I needed touch, it was super useful. I just needed it like 2% of the time I used the tablet. Okay? And it was only in very specific circumstances. And then touch was very nice. I just didn't need it all the time. Kingdom says, I was thinking of buying a new screen tablet to upgrade from my old 22HD, but it seems like every tablet has something I don't like. Well, I think you can... No, I think there are tablets which will give you everything, that are complete upgrades. However, in your case, since you mentioned the 22HD, the one tablet that gives you everything and more is unfortunately kind of expensive, which is the Cintiq Pro 22, which I have, and it is my favorite actual tablet. I love it. I love it. But its price is a bit outrageous at $3,000, right? This is something that I'm hoping Wacom will... So my fantasy, maybe we'll see it. Actually, let me back up. I'll have to ask for Tablet Kitten and the crew, the Discord crew, to keep me honest here. We know that Wacom is going to release new Cintiq models. We even know some of them are going to have touch. We know there's a 24-inch model coming and a 16-inch model coming. And they even have an Android tablet coming. And for those of you who haven't been on these streams before, the reason we know this is when you ship a product, I guess in the United States, you have to have it tested for compliance for FCC stuff. So we know the model numbers, and from the model numbers we can tell new tablets are coming and how big they are and if they have a screen or not. So I think who said this? This was Kingdom. While I don't think a 22 HD was coming, we did see, I believe, a 16 and a 24. And from the model numbers, these look like not Cintiq Pros, but Cintiqs. So I think wait until later in the year, and you might find something that would more fit your needs for an upgrade, right? I know, Amir, you're back from lunch. People came in with more questions, so I decided to just keep on going with answering and talking. Let's see. Dandy says, I can't say I'm a fan of buttons knobs on top of the tablet either. Yeah, I'm of the same way. I'm in the same feeling, Dandy. I'm just, but the thing is, I hate the button placement on the Cintiq Pro, the new Cintiq Pros. They're like on the sides, and it's just a really weird place for them to be. Like not only on the sides, but like in the back on the sides, and you have to do something funny with your hands to hold it or to touch them, and they're easy to press the wrong buttons too. Let's see. Daniel Percy says, I've worked with the Intuos and Cintiqs for years, and the access to the mouse keyboard are very different. I personally think has a stronger use case on the Cintiq than the Intuos do this. Yeah, okay. I would agree with that. I mean, I'm basing my experience with this topic on... I mention this all the time. I worked for Microsoft for 30 years almost. And when in 2012, the Surface... laptops or Surface Pros, the 2-in-1 Slate tablets started appearing. And I think almost everyone at Microsoft had this, 90% of them, maybe more, had the same reaction, which is, none of us use touch. But when we needed to, it was awesome. Right? And so we all had that feeling. It was a great convenience feature to have. Right? Because sometimes you see a screen and it's like, it says click this button, and you're like, oh, I get it. I'm just going to click the button that I see, right? It's very natural, especially when you're, I found it very convenient in situations where I was talking to an audience and the Surface Pro is in front of me, and I needed to sort of move something, and it just would have been awkward for me to look at them and then put my eyes down and get a mouse. It was much more natural to click on something that I could just see. So that for me, which is a very rare use case, I admit that was me working at Microsoft presenting to, some CEOs of some companies or something, or CTOs, etc. Let's see, Daniel says, personally, I never like touch on either device, but keeping in the Cintiq line, yeah, while removing users is not complete bonkers. Makes sense. I could definitely see that removing it from a pen tablet makes more sense than moving from a Cintiq. Right? Mir, we're just talking about touch support, multi-touch support in these tablets. So please don't feel like an outcast, okay? It's just, and the reason it got brought up is it's one of the big topics that cause a lot of stress in people when Wacom announced the new Intuos Pros, and we're kind of trying to triangulate how we think about its removal, right? Does it make sense or not? I think Daniel has made a case that it makes sense to have touch in the screen tablets, but not in pen tablets, and I can totally understand that as well, because it's more natural for a screen tablet. Okay, let me get a drink of water, and I'll just keep on answering any questions that come up. Okay, so let me get back to the Wacom thing. Yeah, so we expect a 24-inch and a 16-inch and an Android tablet. That's what we think is coming out this year, based on the FCC data we have. And this is, I think, going to be an exciting year for Wacom. Surprise. Like, they don't release tablets that often, but suddenly it's raining tablets. And Kingdom says, yeah, agree, I'm probably going to wait. The fans on the Cintiq Pro is the deal breaker for me. Yeah. That, even for me, is a struggle. I like a quiet environment. And I really even remember getting this Intuos Pro, and I'm so hyped up for that, right? And I'm going to share something which is, Wacom says this, so like it's not me saying this. Wacom, the wa is supposed to be, I guess the word wa in Japanese means like harmony or something like that. And then the com part comes from computer. Wacom, right? I can't think of a thing that is more disharmonious than buying a $3,500 pen display and turning it on, hearing it, and then being forced because of, the experience to turn down the brightness from 100 to like 50 or something so that the noise is tolerable. Like sorry, I'm sensitive to it. It's just that's not harmony, folks, right? How's good, bad touch on Canvas Pro? I mean, on Windows, I feel it's pretty good. I feel like it was about as good as like, I have a Surface Pro right in front of me, right? Which you can see here. And very similar to that. Because a lot of what you get for touch is also coming from Windows, and Windows is very well designed for touch. Yeah, and Philip, you think it is too. And let's see, Dandy even says that. What I'd like, Dandy, honestly, and the rest of you, is like, I don't know how to express it because it's hard to. How can I say this? I wish I could put the pen on this glass and draw and I mean, I'm sorry, this is kind of a fantasy, I guess. I wish I could do something with my hand that made drawing with the pen easier or more expressive without interfering with the pen. So I'm trying to think of an example. It's kind of hard because we don't have this feature anywhere, right? But I want you to imagine maybe I'm drawing a stroke, and with my left hand, I'm pressing on something to increase, I don't know, the opacity or whatever, right? It's kind of like, different ways of providing input. I would love if tablets would let you do more creative things, right? I've often wondered about not even just a hand, but like other. Have you ever seen what device was it? It was a Surface. What was it called? Surface Studio, I think. And Microsoft had this puck. They call it a dial, and the dial could let you select color and some other things. Like, I would love it if a tablet would let you have not only your hand and the pen, but like multiple ways of controlling what's happening on the surface, right? To give you more expressive power. Let's see, Mir says, I think Wacom is better in English pronunciation because if you pronounce it as Wakamu, it sounds like a foreign word. The thing is, this letter, I'm not sure which one that is actually, can be pronounced as N or M. I don't know if you saw it, Mir. I actually did a video where I took like an hour of their CEO talking, and I found, I think, 24 instances, and he's speaking English, okay? 24 instances in which he said the word of the company. And I put them back to back, and I actually published a video about it. And what's interesting is we actually noticed, and we actually compared it to when he's speaking Japanese and says the name of the company. He actually says Wacom in different ways. In Japanese, he says it a certain way. Like, he says it faster. That may just be because he speaks faster in Japanese, though he's perfectly fluent in English. And but in English, he's a bit more variable in how he says it. I would say in Japanese, it sounds like he's saying welcome. Like it's very fast and very. I think it's more subtle. I would say. With in English, he says it more with more force. If that makes any sense, right? And I think he even varies it a bit from like. Sometimes it sounds like he's going more Wacom, which is how I say it. And other times it's mostly Wacom. But it was interesting hearing him say it because I didn't realize the subtleties of how it's pronounced in Japanese. And I don't speak any Japanese. But it was interesting seeing that there was a difference, right? And I think I heard the wakamu in Japanese, but again, very super subtle sound. But again, my point there in talking about their name is I like the idea. I love their name if you can, harmony and computer put together. I think if that is something you're going to live up to, your Cintiq Pros can't be loud. They can't have sounds. And some people will say correctly, well, you can't really hear the sound if you're in a busy office. I'm like, I'm not in a busy office, right? I'm in a very quiet house and I work late at night. It is extremely quiet. And I want real quiet stuff, right? Okay, let me just see if there's any more questions. You know what? I'm going to show you guys something. Just give me a second. It's going to be a little bit of a surprise. And what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to, yeah. Okay, I'm going to put it on my face for a second. Because I need this to be a surprise. I'm going to show you something on the Discord. Now, I draw, I do actually draw real things. But on the Discord, I share, I guess you could call it meme art. Okay, and I just want to show you a couple of things I did. Not to show you really that I did anything good, but someone once accused me on the Wacom subreddit of like shilling Wacom. And I was like, not offended, but shocked because I thought, I'm the one who constantly rips on Wacom for certain tablets and pens they make. Like I'm always like, pointing out bad things, but I'm also recognizing when they do good things, right? I think I'm very fair that way. So I don't think I'm a shill for Wacom. And but inspired by that comment, I wrote something, and I just wanted to show it to you. Where is it? It's under. Hang on. Again, I want to make this a surprise, and you can. This was done in protest of. And actually, I'll show you some other things there. It's kind of funny. Hang on. Okay, here we go. So it's this picture, right? And so this is a popular one on the Discord. And this is inspired by this hypothetical person who's so who thinks Wacom can do no wrong. They're inhaling the Wacopium, right? If anyone's seen the copium meme, this is just a riff on that. And boy, this is gonna get me in trouble with Wacom, I'm sure. And then there's this one, which is inspired by the prices of the Cintiq Pro tablets, right? And I think everyone knows this. We don't often see the Wacom logo these days, but that's what it is there. And then I'll just show you just one more thing, which is, I just take these little frogs and I make little memes with them involving, tablets like this, right? So this is my tablet researcher Peepo. So and again, I can do other stuff, right? But I just wanted to show you some of these little memes. Okay, well, there's some few questions here. Let's get my face back on. Okay. Miha says, Japanese is faster than English in general as a language, just like Spanish in some parts of the world is much faster than others. Oh, that could be it. He could have just tried mixing it in. Mir says, Japanese is not fast. People can read, speak it as fast as well as English. So I think, Mir, you're saying it's not a particularly fast language. The Japanese is still Wacom. Koyo, thank you for joining. Some Japanese letters become semi-silent, like the word desu, pronounced des. Oh, that's a thing, huh? I didn't know if I was mishearing that. Because I noticed sometimes occasionally I'll hear someone speak it, and I see the closed captioning or what it's supposed to be said, and I'm like, hey, wait a second. Some letters are missing. People do pronounce it desu, but des is mostly used and do with it. Oh, so sometimes you can have it in and sometimes not. Okay, interesting. Dandy, thanks for joining. It was great to have you in the stream. People only pronounce it desu when they're trying to be cute. Interesting. You usually say desu instead of des when you say... I'm not sure what this word means, so I'll have to just skip that. Okay, we've gone on almost 2 hours now, and I think we've answered all the questions. And I think I am actually getting just a little bit tired. So everyone, I think I'm going to just end the stream, but I want to thank you again for your patience and your engagement and keeping the chat lively. Again, I know it's kind of like a surprise stream. I just wanted to, just felt energetic and wanted to get a few topics out there. So again, thanks everybody, and please join the Discord. If you want to chat on a more regular basis on tablets, that's what we do there. And with that, have a great day. I'll see you soon. And thanks, everybody.